and win condition if you are looking to retake as well. Also, Gecko's ult the Thrash, good for a similar kind of thing. There's going to be a lot of scaling on this Novi Green side when they do flip to the attack. Right now, they're on their defense, and looking at the agents they're playing with, the util perhaps not so heavy to slow things down or at least quash some kind of a rush.
Yeah, I think when you look towards it on the retake, though, it could be pretty effective. At least, I think as well, something else that we need to talk about is the general control, or passive control that we're going to see from Novi Green. It's pretty lackluster. You're basically relying on one trademark, so I need to see exactly how that is dealt with already, though. Priority towards mid for Tonka, and they're even clearing out in towards Art, which we're going to have to see Rabbit try and drop off of, or well, you would advise so, as they are going to get pushed in towards Connector.
Yeah, already early control here taken by Tonka Varsity. Nice util combo to the backside, and it has Like a Fool dead to rights. Jai the next to full hype, able to take one kill, flashing out with the Dizzy, but that is all. A 4 versus 2 presents itself, and Tonka Varsity look very comfortable in this position behind the toxic screen.
2 players left, and one on such low HP, and nice relay bolt to isolate the fight. 1 player left as the chamber, and one of those bullets can, I was going to say, maybe even get 2. No, only gets 1 at this moment in time. The others are wasted, and 3 players set up the crossfires. Hazard. This is looking like an attacker round for Tonka Varsity.
Yeah, you also have the turret about to take contact as soon as Gautama steps out from Flowers and barely even gets a chance to do so. Schmoogler finds it, and Tonka Varsity will be picking up the pistol round. Already, we are seeing how much they have to overload certain positions. The Astra utility there, stunning up Like a Fool, I believe it was, or at least, keeping them pinned to position while the Nano Swarm does the damage. Lots of, points of combination, points of synergy here that both teams can really tap into, but Novi Green, I feel, need to put themselves on the offensive, be a little more proactive if they are to get the same kind of value.
Fantanex buying up the Vandal and a Bulldog as well, so looks like it is going to be a lot of the larger weaponry coming through. 3 Spectres there as well, but probably those would be considered the lesser. And while there's a push in towards mid, there's bodies collected, and they are almost falling to the wayside as they try to look towards other avenues, even getting up towards what would be considered window. It's already the players of Novi Green on towards the site. No one's found Gautama yet. They will now. What a lovely shot, just trying to right click their way through. The chamber's still in towards Halls, and they're the only player towards the site, somehow holding it down. No longer going to be holding much as we see those last remaining player up on towards long.
Yeah, Jai doing a bit of damage. The headshot from that range, not enough. Only 78 points of health. That will not be enough to drop any of these down. Armoured opponents even gets a second one onto Fantanex, but they will be walking away fairly unscathed. Coming into the bonus round, we already have a few rifles on the board, so this should be a fairly healthy one and a great opportunity for Tonka Varsity to convert. I already spoke about the proactivity I wanted to see coming out from Novi Green. They funnel themselves into mid, but it's a little disjointed. Difficult to trade out any of those players, and they end up just losing any kind of advantage they were looking for almost immediately. I think the prioritization here has to be towards something, like A main, for example. Let Gautama hold on to those longer angles outside of B.
Again, that priority in towards mid for Tonka here as they look to poke and prod, but it's straight through lane, and realistically there's nothing to control this. That trademark was down, and I mean, how many bodies are here? Novi Green won't know, but they'll know now as the Neon just comes straight out, bodies flying left and right. Gautama isolated towards the back of sight as the flash comes through. They can't flick on towards the second. Spike will be going to get planted, but maybe it won't. It'll be down for the time being, and Tonka Varsity, they have to try and recollect this hazard.
Yeah, Jai's found a way to deny, and now this round is looking set up for Novi Green. Tonka Varsity need to get it planted. Both players trapped towards backhalls. A single Astral Star remains, and most likely it will be that Nebula. options fleeting in the post. A tap from Schmoogler just to see if there's any reaction, and out comes the utility. A pull, a horn, and even perhaps a curveball, but it means nothing. Fantanex finds 3 on the round, Schmoogler to close, and Tonka Varsity have played that brilliantly. Nice little fake into the util dump. They drop the shoulder and swing back.
Fantanex absolutely went huge there, Hazza, getting those 2 kills, just set up Tonka perfectly. And I mean, the gaps in the defense, Tonka were able to find perfectly as well. That lane position, that lane kind of penetration.
Yeah, I mean, you fully expect after that first kill is found that Novi Green are lining up, laying in wait for the second engagement. So just baiting the tap, while it may not seem like an incredibly high-level play, it's just to get anything that Novi Green were looking to put on the board straight out of their hands and win out in the duels, because there was a nice crossfire setup.
Already a peek out from the fade. I think that Trailblazer was caught in the seas as the players look to continue forward. The Gecko, does he not quite hitting the mark just because it got shot out? But the guiding light doesn't. Jumbo Mumbo comes straight through, already getting forward, even more so. The Sheriff and the Headhunter not working out. It's turning into a firing line, surgical at best, and well, they're removing all the players from the map.
Yeah, it's rounds like this as well which will continue to fuel the confidence of Tonka Varsity. In terms of the records for both of these teams in the regular season, we already seen that Novi Green were the only team of the 2 to have that flawless record. Tonka Varsity came out 7-1, so they ended up losing their first fixture, their inaugural fixture of the season. That was against Wichita East. But we'll perhaps have to see a rematch of that one later on in the playoff bracket, because they've at least started off well here.
It's interesting, whenever the tap comes through, straight away Tonka come off of it just to see what the reaction is, I think. Unless I'm maybe trolling, but
no, you're not trolling. They did it again on that round, right?
Yeah,
already had B, should be pretty comfortable with it.
I was a bit confused about the one there because they literally had like every extremity controlled.
I think perhaps you'd have to run it back and have a look, but I think there's a decent chance that because it was in fact Chocomint that got it planted, with them getting quite close to having this lockdown available, we might have seen a prioritization of actually building up those ult orbs. So the same way that I said Novi Green are going to want the run it back and they're not going to have it quite just yet, that is got to be something you have to be thinking about here if you're Tonka Varsity, especially on a round like that when you have a little bit of comfortability to work with.
I think it's always harder on the defense to get those ultimate orbs farmed, but I guess you've got much more of an opportunity on A to do so. And I mean, there's even like utility with Gecko flashes and the like that you could do so, but the problem is I mean, you look at what's towards Tonka, they're being so aggressive and they've not thought about the chamber. Gotama gets one and gets out, and look at this, look at the position here from the Neon.
Yeah, Chroma is able to capitalize, move away from it. Gotama still holding on, spots the barrel. The fast lane goes up, Chroma repositions, maybe even seeing if they could catch an angle underneath, but there's nothing going. Finally, the peek comes through, the shot missed. Both players very low, there's a double up. In slides Chroma, and they walk away with 2. I have no idea how that's been possible, but the movement perhaps just a little too difficult to contend with. A couple of things there from Novi Green just not quite going their way, and Tonka Varsity all too happy to find a third.
Ooh, there's a world where that becomes 2. Pix has and Novi Green
as well. They found most of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think as well, just the way that Tonka are being able to find it's interesting because there's gaps in the defence, and like, how does the Neon get all the way through in towards Flowers without Novi Green knowing, you know? Yeah. And it's creating so many issues in this hold that they're trying to go for.
Yeah, I already said before how I want to see Novi Green be a bit more proactive. Take some space, like a main control, for example. You can throw that Dizzy straight up and then recollect it quite easily from the safety of the A site and still find a way to initiate your Phoenix player. You've got those curveballs as well. They're quite individualistic flashes. When you look at Tonka Varsity, this Sky gives them so many options, and even off the back of the Neon's own relay bolts, or like the Astra gravity wells, your Nova pulses, for example. Like, it's going to be so easy for them to just run into the site. Novi Green need to do a little bit more. Even on that round, when you saw the mosh pit come out, the C's wasn't used by Jay. They could have very easily, sort of followed it up with that second piece of utility, and there's a chance if you can pinch a player there, you're taking a kill. But right now, not quite seeing that same kind of combination come through as we have from Tonka.
Well, there is an opportunity for a run it back this time. You were talking about priority towards it. Well, it can be getting used here. And Novi Green are already looking to suffocate their opponents by taking away the map space, but already hitting the site. I mean, there's only 2 players there. They're low on HP. That's a big horn, but actually didn't go for the spray because they're on a frenzy, or a stinger, sorry. Now it's back to a 4 versus 4. Sheriffs in the lake lying in wait. The guiding light just denies for a moment in time, but the denial actually comes through in lethality by Tonka Varsity. 1 player left, and it is the chamber. I mean, there is a rifle in hand, but I mean, what is the options? What are the chances? Not many.
Yeah, Gotama trying to find a way back through. Rocking the stiff dragon. I mean, that was a classic from back in the day, I remember. Alfie AC, a pioneer of that in the UK scene. I was saying this the other day, seeing quite a few players now use sort of the unupgraded skins. I don't know if it's like some kind of a weird phase, but not too much to take away from the round itself. You can see Novi Green try to go for that fast retake. Soap KR by finding 1 kill buys a bit of time, but yeah, the weaponry just insufficient.
Here.
Well, what is the difference here? We've seen the run it back, and there is 2 players standing, lying and wait on towards that main spot. Curveball prepared, and actually not going to use the ultimate. Just going to, not partly a dry swing, but just use the util instead. Has it good first pick as well, because it goes your Astra.
Yeah, it's a little bit more aggression, and what that's actually done, the pressure has created a little pocket where the chamber player can now post up. Rendezvous yet to be expended, and Novi Green have quite a nice hold on this A site. Players stacked up, 2 of those Astral Stars placed as well. Just about getting out of this one for now, the Phoenix, and should have the Blaze Wall to heal off the back of as well towards Flowers. Chroma piling on the pressure, however. Another kill found, and now the pincer comes through. The mid control capitalized. But like a fool, does get their response.
Oh, it was a little bit dodgy. Is this even dodgy? It is! Fantanex has somehow found an opportunity. A knife between the shoulder blades, whatever you want to call it, a chink in the armour. That's exactly what it is. Now it looks as if that Spike making its way on towards B, and like a fool, while they've got so much HP, has still got to find against 2 players.
Yeah, and you've expended your run it back at this point in time now as well, so don't have a chance to retake with it. Even then, not a big fan of using that ult in the retake just because of how vulnerable it can make you if Tonka Varsity did look to exploit it. However, the vulnerable one instead is the Killjoy player caught trying to move things to post. A single snakebite left for Fantanex, but they can stall out with this.
Just holding. There goes the first snake bite. Even a vulnerability on towards the Phoenix would be enough. Half the amount of bullets needed. Hot hands just missing the mark, and as you tap on the spike, Fantanex just lies in wait. The patience, the discipline is unreal. The spike not even being halved, and they can see that. Yep, it is just going to be another round for Tonka Varsity. Very well played here by Fantanex.
Yeah, expertly played, like a fool. They can find 4, but will not take the round. I believe, I was going to say as well, it's Fantanex, yes, still hasn't died. 12-0. Absolutely ridiculous plays coming out of this Viper. You see a lot of the time, your Viper player has the freedom to become a lurk because of those smokes being remote. The same opportunity is presented here for Schmoogler, but I think they've had a bit more active participation with the rest of the utility, not just the smokes, to engage the rest of this team. But just completely opens up the mid round, and then going into post, very, very nice discipline.
A lot of over peaks and 1 versus 1s gifted all across that round there. Really Bolt goes out, and it was actually played pretty nicely. The Neon just chasing down and got him up. I mean, might not be fragging out as much as they want to be, but there's certainly been a frequent player in towards that kill feed, and here comes Fantanex once again.
The kills that they're finding more specifically as Jai finally puts Fantanex to the sword. The first time that they've died so far in this game. 12 kills uncontested. Going back to what you were saying, Gotama has found the first pick on the last 2 rounds. We'll be looking to get another one here, and well, has already done it, I should say. Doubles up, in fact, for their efforts. Now a 4 versus 2, and Tonka Varsity looking at dropping the first round. It's between Schmoogler, who's been in this position before, and Chocomin out in the open. So much they have to contend with, and it's not going to happen. Thrifty for Novi Green, finally they get on the board.
Is there maybe a little bit of overconfidence there from Tonka Varsity with the way that they played that? The neon of
Maybe.
Chroma chasing down, and you know you've got Fantanex kind of swinging through lane, trying to catch players off guard.
I wouldn't say necessarily too much overconfidence, maybe a little bit of complacency.
Yeah.
With Chroma, for example, taking that fight dry instead of having the sky flashes that we've seen quite a few times tee them off. Really hungry to just chase down Gotama, knowing that they could be in a fairly weak position coming out of the rendezvous. But yeah, nothing comes of it. Novi Green get a really important round, and Gotama finds the first pick yet again. Chroma shut down, but Fantanex does have a refrag or 2 or 3 from mid. What is that?
Yeah, and not only that, the regrowth's here to try and support them. The Astra that was actually in towards Art to support now can't try and swing out, goes all the way down into pit. There's going to be Seeker, surely no, I was going to say if the Seekers are invested, I mean, that truly is confirm the round, and you've got no chance that... I look towards the Gecko, still far away, and there's just too big a stack to contend with here.
So just trying to anchor it from the pit. You have the rotate now coming in as well. They are somewhat aware of this position. Hype in support. Spike getting planted. Effective 2v2 if you take the fights now. The player is still lurking in the form of Schmoogler. Yeah, like I said, one that you would expect. And finally they take the kill. Not going to matter too much as Hype can take a couple with him, but eventually does drop to that double backstab. Tonka stabilize, and they find the nth. Service as usual resumed.
Yeah, nice entry again from Gotama. This is something that we should be wanting to see from like a full, but I mean, you know what? Halfway there towards that run it back, even if you can try and get, I was going to say try and get towards the main control, but we've not been seeing much of that again. And I think that's, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, that's where we saw a good start to the round for Novi Green.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me here has to be trading down your advantages and not over peaking when you're in that position, because Fantanex, while they are appearing to be unkillable, it also is fed into their hands, the 3 kills through mid. Whether it's them or someone else that picks it up, you have an advantage, sit with it. Doesn't happen, and Jai tries to scramble for one in this round. Unfortunately, they can't disengage like the Chamber does. They've already fallen, and we're going into this execute with a player advantage.
Oh, nice spam there from Fantanex. Gets it high. Oh, coming through with the bucky! Just can't quite get the body shots and melt the rest of the players. Again, taken out, spiked down, and I mean, this is a player that I would love to see clutch up. Has a doubt it's going to happen though.
Yeah, you can always wish upon a star, lots of util to contend with, and this should be very simplistic. You have turret for contact. Fantanex is waiting in the lane to make their reprisal, and Gotama, while they have the rendezvous, this is going to have to be something ridiculous for it to happen. And even picking up the Vandal means that Schmoogler knows that the Nebula is compromised. They can go for a spam a little more acute. And coming out of our 10th round, it is dominant from Tonka Varsity.
You asked the question, Hazard. Is it going to be a one-sided affair, or are we going to get much more even, much more close? And well, you have your answer now. Yeah. One more round, and you basically reach the minimum to almost get ready to win it off the pistol next round.
The point of no return, I guess you could call it, Cairo. I don't know. I think this game probably looks a lot different if the sides are started the other way around. Tonka Varsity are also delivering a lot in the individual quality department. Also, the fundamentals looking to be pretty sound. They haven't done anything crazy to play all areas of the map, and sometimes are getting sucked into these executes, but by now they've built up such an ult economy, they can just afford to expend all of this. Cosmic Divide up, Seeker's there as well, and the front part of the site already under their control.
Flashes coming through on either side. The call to plant the spike is there through some voice lines in the lake, and even in double invested in terms of the ultimates here, it has up Viper's Pit to make the angles even slower. Oh, that's a nice thrash to come through as well. Can they find the Viper? No, but they'll find the Sky. Goes the Neon as well. All the util is invested here. The players coming alive with gunfights of their own, but here comes the Pit. It's dropped in all the angles now in favour of the attackers in this side. You wouldn't think so. It's a 2 versus 1, and it seems as if we're going to see like a full half to try and clutch up. Has 2 of those curveballs, but can't get quite close enough to the KJ. Does so, but it's the time that's the biggest aspect of this. Schmoogler being brought back, waiting, just allows the time to drip away from Novi Green's side, and Tonka Varsity find their 10th.
There we have it. Double digits for Tonka Varsity. I mean, they threw the kitchen sink at that round and made a serious dent. Still, ultimates left and available. 3 ults used and 2 remaining. That's what I'm speaking about. They already had such a strong round differential with barely any expense. It's a monopoly on ultimates. You still have a lockdown. You have an overdrive. You can hit it fast. You can hit it slow. You're going to be winning the round 9 times out of 10 anyway against this kind of buy, unless Gotama can find some more of these entries. But even from that position historically, Novi Green have struggled. You start to wonder why perhaps a gun like the Operator wasn't a higher priority earlier on.
Oh, big pick. That means that they can destroy the lockdown if they want to, but decide against it in case it's a bigger stack. The spike is already out up towards B, and the fact that that entry pick might have already called for the rotate.
This is entirely a fake. Soap comes out, finds Schmoogler. That's a 30 post plant already gone, and in fact, it may not exist. Ceases to, in fact. Wingman now hops on towards the spike. The defuse coming in. Proxy as Novi Green begin to take these duels themselves. A 1 versus 4 for Fantonex. For many points during this game, they've seemed to be unkillable, and this is going to have to be something unrealistic, in fact, if it is to happen, and that is exactly the case. 2 rounds in the end for Novi Green, far from ideal for them, but still enough to keep them in this game for the time being.
Yeah, and you know what? We've seen comebacks from 10-2. I remember vividly that there's one that I don't know what that comes straight to mind all the time is the 10-star against what was the other French roster?
That is so niche. That is the most like the most niche EMEA biased like comeback.
Yeah, but it's one I remember vividly.
I was expecting Fnatic 11-3, but for those who are wondering what Caro's talking about, he's talking about Medusa EMEA, which was a third-party Game Changers tournament in a series between 10-star, an org which has ceased operations, Rix, another org which has ceased operations, and both of their cores have split up and merged with one another in the off-season. So, yeah, not one that most people are going to have clung to memory, but I totally know what you mean. That was also on Breeze, another map still not in the pool. But the longer this one goes on, the more drawn out and inconclusive it seems to be.
Yeah, well, the point was the fact that it was 10-2 and the players managed to come back from this. Well, anyway, it seems as if Tonka Varsity have the util in order once again. Oh, that was a little bit dodgy, and I tell you what's even dodgier. They pushed this into connector, dealt with already by Jumbo my mumbo. And well, if Novi Green, they're probably going to be mumbling their words. What is going on in this pistol?
Yet again, Novi Green, early advantage, instantly lost. Tonka Varsity having very nice re-aggressions, or at least just over-complacency. I really don't know what to put this one down to. It's been a serious skirmish in mid, but Jumbo Mumbo has found a couple of kills, which makes me happy. A player who's just been using a lot of this supportive utility, finally getting on the score sheet and getting their reward. Hyper's found a really interesting position. I'm not sure if they'd expect to clear this. Finally, they do, and that will be sufficient. Choco Mint does enough damage, and Mumbo finds the third.
Yeah. Now, this is where we start to get to the worrying part, because realistically we expect Tonka to, with the anti-eco and the better weaponry, to win out the next. We end up on 12-2, and well, I mean, you've got a rifle round still to go, Hazard.
Yeah, that you do. Tonka Varsity converting the bonus last time around. In fact, winning 7 rounds uncontested. From the attacker's side, the story a little different, but it's crazy, right? You look at this composition that they're playing with the Astra and Viper. There are so many layers to what they can do. This toxic screen is going to be a serious issue on B. Chroma can afford to get a bit aggressive up towards ramp if they want, or at least be that quick player on the rotate, which seems like what they're opting for. And you've got a full Killjoy setup on the other side of the map with Astral Stars in support. So Novi Green, while they have forced into this, the util game could be what wins it out for Tonka Varsity.
Well, the flashes do come through, and Big Con just identifies that Chocomint was on their own. The players somehow getting by the art hold of the two players. That's due to a smoke that's been placed, and Rabbit just straight off the mark. Straight in from third gear. Now things start to fall to the wayside as Gotama comes through with their usual tricks. Now have to try and rescue this Tonka Varsity. The Bulldog of Jumbo My Mumble does some work. But the thing is, though, there's still plenty more players to find. They're down to a 2 versus 2. Chroma low on HP. Regrowth comes through. That's not going to be the same, I guess, benefit afforded to the attacking side.
Yes.
We see that.
Again, Novi Green, advantages lost. 2 versus 4 situation. And in my mind, the whole time there, as you're doing the play-by-play, I'm thinking, if Gotama falls here, Novi Green are losing this round. Because you look at the amount of damage that Chocomint was able to chalk onto 3 players into the red zone by the time Novi Green have actually taken the site. All it's going to do is someone in a fairly healthy position, well supported enough, not on their lonesome, with any kind of automatic weapon, and you are sweeping the floor with the remainder of the players. And that's exactly what happens. Jumbo and Chroma combine, and it is taken once again. Another round brought to post. Yeah, you could say that Hype KR and the 1v3 is a different scenario altogether, but the fact that Novi Green have been put in these positions and just simply been unable to capitalize again and again blows my mind.
Look at this. Jumbo waits. Trailblazer are going to be used, but there's players far too close. Surely you saw that the chamber's there. Oh, the guiding light does come through and confirms it. I mean, we already knew there's players on the other side, and somehow gets away before that Viper's wall drops. Elsewhere, though, there is a pick from Med. A lovely swing through, but it's picked up on towards Fantinex. Advantage still stays in Nova Green's favour.
Fantinex tries to wrangle a little more than what they can realistically get their hands on there. An over-aggression from Schmugel unsupported in mid is what opens the round up for Novi Green. They didn't have weapons, but now an opportunity to recollect them. Already the Nebula going up towards Ali, the Spike not yet committed to either side of the map as the players group up in mid. Chroma is close by, could be the killing blow if they go huge here. Out comes the curveball, but they're completely out in the open. Lycoful takes it. Another 4 versus 2 Cairo, but this one has to favour Novi Green. Surely, if any round would, it would be this.
Oh, you would hope so. Wingman going for that spike plant. Nice blaze ball to deny anybody getting on towards denying it. Well, the denial is definitely gone now. You're looking in a 1 versus 4 for this KG, and I don't really favour them, even though they do have a Bulldog. I mean, Chocomint could do a bit of damage, and that's what they'll be looking to do before the round ends.
I mean, last time they hit the site, Chocomint had the claws dug in, did a bit of damage, but footsteps already heard. Players should just be passive for the contact and peek out 1 by 1, or not 1 by 1, I should say, coordinated in their efforts.
Yes.
I think you probably could afford to peek out 1 by 1 there in the 4v1, but Novi Green get it over the line, as they should in that situation. They had upgrades as well. The HP this time around favours them, and Tonka Varsity are forced onto a low investment from the defender's side after having a fairly few scrappy rounds now in a position where they have to concede this. And Novi Green with a prime opportunity to at least soften that deficit before we potentially move in to this second map with Tonka 1 up.
Players slowly move down A main, and I mean, the chamber has to stay close by to that trademark, even though they are going on towards a lurk. Tonka Varsity must have invested quite a lot with the fact that Vantenex has it only on a bucket. The map, though, you look towards what's going on, has it, and they're starting to already get on the flank. There's been a couple of picks up on the site, one apiece for either side. What happens here when you're in this position? The players don't peek out the wrong time. They don't know about the neon as they try to run away. This is going to be terrible. There it is, and that's going to be two massive upgrades and a spike.
Yep. The map closing in for Novi Green, whether they knew it or not. And while we do have a flank from Atama here now in towards spawn, Gotama, it's not really going to mean anything. You're back to a 2 versus 2, yes. Do you have control of the spike? No, far from it. The trademark will still be up, so at the very least they know there's nobody hanging around close by, but both of these players now in possession of a ranged weapon. All it's going to take is for Chroma to close it out, and they've nearly done it. It's half a job, and now Vantenex, the one remaining.
Oh, no, you don't.
There we go. What? Snow manages to win it. 31 points of health, a little bit of run and gun. I mean, everything that you can possibly hold on to here, Novi Green, you're going to want it. Perhaps not the round that they were hoping for, but they do still pick it up.
Yeah, and it was a big round, and do you know something? This moment right here, just the lack of, I guess, I don't even know what you want to call it, just that lack of just kind of... Not map awareness, I was going to say peace of mind, like to kind of check that little bit at the back of your head. It's like, oh, just in case. Nice heads up play though from Tonka, because they straight away went and cleared B long, and that was going to be them playing aggressive there. And they even just continued forward and turned that round into something that probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can tell that they're really confident right now. At the time it was 9 map points, now it becomes 8. And they have a player advantage. Thrash off the board, no ultimate for the Gecko player. But the same cannot be said for the Sky. Now has the Seekers up. I would have liked, one-way alarm bot, stuff towards A heavy rotation coming through. Tonka have read this brilliantly.
I was going to say, I would have liked to have seen that Seekers actually invested after that first pick, as you saw players running away, but I mean, it's already going to be invested anyway in the mid-round, picking up Schmuggler. Yeah, that's going to be a big one, because that's just one of your smokes gone.
Seeker's a bit more time sensitive. The longer you wait, the more value they'll have. And the longer you wait to make this execute if you're Novi Green, the more information that Tonka Varsity will have. They close in. The pack was hungry. And Novi Green, actually, it is implemented.
I always find it funny when you look towards Split and KG doesn't get a massive pick rate. And towards this, Sage actually getting higher priority here for Tonka. Obviously good for the delays, etc. And something I will like to see it being played out. This Viper war between the two rosters as well. One is going to be something to look out for in the kind of looks.
Yeah, I mean, the composition that Novi Green are playing is very similar to what the Loud comp is on this map. The only difference being Omen swapped out for an Astra in Loud's composition. So it's going to be about initiating as well as they possibly can with the Sky, setting up your Raze and your Jet for success. And look, you take 4 rounds here starting off, you get the pistol to begin that charge. You're going to be very happy with how the rest of this ends up playing, I think. How that Omen ends up factoring in comparison to the Astra I was speaking about, I think will be interesting. Of course, you have a lot more supportive utility on the Astra, but the trade-off is a paranoia, so we'll have to see.
Oh, volleys of bullets being fired off, forced out by the paint shells, and like a fool makes players look like fools after picking up a nice double. Tonka now trying to respond off the back of it, and one of the ways of doing so is allowing Chroma to sneak all the way through from row. Does a player try to react? It's a classic against the Sheriff. The bullet's not quite hitting. Finally they will do so, but Soap comes out the better side. There's still the breach up on towards heaven, and well, they're all on their own, so 1 versus 5, and only a classic in towards the, I guess, the sidearm position. At least they have full shield, or full light shields, I should say. I don't think it's going to work out here.
Nah, it certainly isn't. Flawless on the pistol for Novi Green. Very nicely done. They put the feelers out in towards mid, deal with the barrier orb almost immediately. Tonka Varsity offering a fairly standard setup, right? Like, that is the most default barrier orb that you can be using on this map. Unfortunate for them, there's no real sort of set play. You don't have anything else extra. We're not seeing those combinations come through just yet from your Breach, your Astra, and then realistically the Raze. The amount of utility damage on offer there is always something to look at, but that is exactly what Like a Fool makes the most out of. It forces those players to move into a more compromised position, and already Tonka Varsity, all gas, no brakes.
No breaks at all, and it's going to punish them for it. It's Like a Fool. It's already 3 points off of that showstopper. One player left, and it will be that of the Astra. Jumbo My Mumbo, the classic, just unfortunately misses out. Won't miss out that time, but Like a Fool will pick up 4. That's 2 off that showstopper hazard, which will be great for the next round coming up, the bonus.
And, you know, while these are eco frags, confidence for a duelist player that struggled quite a bit on the previous map. You're looking at the roles being picked up here. You've got Gotama on the Jet, Like a Fool on the Raze. Playing double duelist means that you can just be a bit more aggressive, and I think that's something which probably suits them fairly well, especially when you consider the amount of opening engagements they were able to win on their defender's side, which is what we saw the bulk of on the previous map with what the scoreline ended up being. And whether they can convert from this or not now in the bonus is the real big test.
Oh, there's a lot of isolated engagements across the first couple of rounds, and I mean, big one there, because that's an upgrade now for the Jet.
And the thing is, some of the engagements we saw before were fairly forced, right?
Yeah.
Novi Green, in the first round, you have the paint shells out to mid to force the positioning. The next one is an aggressive push from Tonka. This time, it's just a solo fight. Like, there's absolutely no reason to be taking that duel, but they do it. And there we have it, player down.
It's not only that, there's another one. Chroma didn't need to be standing in the middle of mid, but is so. Yeah. Schmuggler does have the Odin out. There might be a little bit of, I don't even know, I don't want to call it overconfidence. The Odin comes out this time. They're not completely thought about the chopper ramp. There's a player there to hold it down, and the Odin comes through. I doubted the fact that that was picked up, but I shouldn't have at all.
Yeah. Novi Green get caught on the horns of the bull. The mighty Prime Odin rains down Hellfire from Schmuggler and ends up picking 4. Oh, it sounds so sick in slow motion, I have to say. Like, it literally sounds like something out of Star Wars. I think as a caster, it's always annoying when you hear them talk about skins or whatever, but like, that is literally the Death Star. And very nicely done from Schmuggler. I mean, what a response as well. In a round where you lose your first player, then to just shut out Novi Green in that kind of situation. But the initiation just needs to be better.
But this storyline has come through before. The guy didn't like to get up to the top of the ramp. Like a Fool doesn't capitalise though. And Jumbo My Mumbo will be able to drop out there. Yeah, the mid-round and again another problem for Novi Green. Nice gravity well, but nothing to at least catch one of the players off with.
Chocomin has actually gone for that same B main peak just to take the ultimate orb, immediately trying to have this res online more often than not. We've seen Schmoob as well. Sort of wants to get this heal, so there's a big rotate that's coming towards A, but the spike is yet to commit B. You've got 2 players in mid. I'm not sure if they're trying to crunch this vent position from ramp or not, but a decision needs to be made from Novi Green as to where this round is going to finish, despite the fact that the spike is on B. That surely has to be the answer with only 30 seconds left.
I was going to say that surely is the answer with the fact that the spike was moving in, but the problem with that is the fact that it was solo. It's been picked up in one engagement. Now we're seeing the snake bite just deny that area for the time being, but the rest of the players are so slow to react on this. There's 20 seconds left, and if I was Sideshow, I'd be screaming right now.
It really is a similar moment, and this is the save call now for Novi Green. They've completely squandered the round in the pivotal stages there. The mid-rounding, something that needed improvement, and I think it's what we saw in the previous round as well. When they had that entry, you've taken down the Sage player, usually going to be your mid to B anchor, and then directly hitting in towards A, losing out when you haven't got any sort of clearing to scale off the back of. Then this round, just sending a solo player B main, trying to lurk out without any kind of coverage and just losing the spike. A fairly calamitous affair. So Novi Green now going into this timeout need to try and rectify some of those issues and make sure that they're making these correct decisions, like I said before, in the mid round. The early round is good, they're just not getting those capitalizations off the advantages that they already have.
It's just I can't believe that the spike's being solo carried in towards that B main spot there, Hazza. It's just a big, I don't even know. That's a good timeout anyway. That's the point that we've got to talk about, is the fact that Novi Green are stopping and thinking about what's going wrong. You have a lot of rifles to kind of work with as well. 3, I think, that they got through in towards this round.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know if our fantastic observer Carol can actually hear us or not. Maybe she can throw the scoreboard up for us momentarily, but I'm sure we'll see it after this timeout anyway, so it's not really going to matter. There we have it. Perfect stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a strong buy from both teams. This looks to be a pretty big swing round. I think Novi Green, if they get away with a spike plant, probably still have enough to reinvest on a light buy. But, I mean, decent work being done from them already. We can't knock it. The fact that they're find the pistol has already done half the work they needed from this attacker's side. Yeah. When you are running double duelist, however, your expectations perhaps elevated a little bit more.
Especially when we're seeing double duelist comps like the Ascend one that's so popular and one that we've just spoken about so much. Look at how awkward this wall is. It goes all the way in towards the mid as well. The two players now moving up, and Chroma's already dipped out. That left an isolated fight, but it's not isolated for much longer. The two players that walked up and locked up ramp get found, and this has put advantage towards Tonka Varsity.
Cairo, it's the exact same round again. You have the two players going in through heaven, Gotama one of them, and Soap solo with the spike in main. This time around, they're the final player to drop as Chocomin is able to double up, and in fact Tonka Varsity now take the lead. But if that round has told me anything, it's that Novi Green perhaps aren't focusing on what the bigger issues were in their previous unsuccessful outings.
I think as well, lovely reading from Tonka, and on top of that, the micro team synergy as well, like kind of swinging off one another. Maybe it was a little bit too late on that first pick, but it still worked out nonetheless.
Yeah, I am slightly worried for Chocomint's position here in B main, as they are looking to take this solo engagement again. And, well, my fears are confirmed there as Gotama finds the kill. Fantanex gets a pick back for them in mid, as this aggression is well metered. Plenty of utility to back it up. Soap finding one on the lurk to Schmoogler A. And with them usually being the spike carrier, I'm not sure if Tonka are going to read into this being a tell or not. For where the execute ends up coming through, because the spike is still in garage, but they aren't really heavy on this commitment for now with a minute left on the clock.
Already rotating towards you. Remember that Viper wall? I mean, the thing is, though, they've not even cleared this player at the top of ramp, although it could be done pretty easily, considering.
Yeah. Right now, you've just got a really passive setup from Tonka. They're looking at all 3 different lanes in the map that they need to worry about, and more than anything, contacting for this information. You're never going to have the numbers. The alternative to this is playing into a stack, but I mean, when you have a gun advantage, I can somewhat see this being a good decision to make, and Jumbo proves why. Doubling their weight, and now we're back to a level standing.
Yeah, that's going to be really problematic, because Tonka now have the afterburners on. They're trying to get back towards the A site. That spike going to be planted in what is usually the default spot, so it will be somewhat expected as soon as the players come on to site, and will confirm the feels that the players are probably at the back. You've got paint shells and blast packs, which is going to be big.
Yeah, Chroma's going to use both of them. In fact, just jumps through their own main. There's a paranoia coming out to shut them away. And it may not do it, but it does, in fact, stop anything more from happening. The players, the ones that are able to claim the kills. Hype and Gotama from backside, we're in a 3-3 situation again. And as long as Novi Green can maintain this level, And, you know, sorry, I just had like a hiccup halfway through there.
I thought you dipped. I was like, oh no.
No. I am here, in fact. I haven't disconnected. Oh, that was bait. That was really bait. But you know what I mean? Like, Novi Green, yeah, that's an eco as well. Like, you know, good round to be taking, basically. We'll have to see if they can carry on. We do a bit too much trolling sometimes.
No, that's unfortunate for like a full blast packed all the way through and hit a wall. I don't know if that's I guess a metaphor for whatever could be happening, but there's an isolation here. Nice pickup from Soap. Big damage, at least there's the regrowth there, but the up just misses out.
I mean, hindsight is 2020, but as this one progresses onwards, you are seeing Tonka Varsity make quite a few mistakes of their own. We saw them start out on the attack. It was this very homogeneous push where they were also grouped up together and always in position to be trading. But now, this time around, it's so many solo fights being taken. They're winning a lot of them, but not all. And Like a Fool has already dealt so much damage, which can be healed off. But Operator aware, Novi Green maybe not wanting to go, and in fact they do pivot A.
Yeah, big seekers to confirm the suspicions. The wall's already down on A as well, as what you would imagine. The thing is, though, the not identified Schmuggler will at least get out with one. That is the Rolling Thunder lost in terms of the retake and the Cosmic Divide as well. Now the players hold fast, and there's one low. Can't heal up that singular player because it is the Sky. There is at least the res.
I was just about to say, all that Chroma needed to do there is hold on to this screen's position, wait for your teammates to come through. Now you have a health advantage and some more utility to work with. Snakebites coming out from Phantom X as they dropped early in the round. The stall not necessary because they were already off the board. Like a Fool playing the corner, trying to get a bit more done. Manages to find 2 kills, and now there's a double up for that screen's player. Paint Shell's even coming back online to make matters worse. And Chroma has nothing to flush them out with. The contact can be played. The operator taken, but the round lost.
I mean, honestly, I was giving compliments for the micro. I was giving compliments for the micro synergies of Tonka Varsity and the way they were trading out, but that was really, really poor from the Rays there. The fact that like there is still that player not cleared out that's close to the right is just so harsh.
Yeah. It's really difficult, right? It is really difficult. On the Phantom as well, you give yourself more multi-kill potential. Yet again, Like a Fool and Gotama leading the line for Novi Green. And it is that Rays player, formerly on the Phoenix, who's made a big step up for them here. And it's exactly what you want to see. I did say before, okay, maybe this comp is going to have a little more success on the attacker side, despite the fact that the odds will not favour them so much. But I mean, you look at what Tonka Varsity have to work with and slow the pace down, dictate it, in fact, from the position they hold, and not the maximum currently being taken.
The player's already looking to dip out. Is that a second operator that I'm seeing from Phantom X, or is that the same one as before?
No, it's, I mean, you've had to rebuy it anyway. It was lost.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The kill being found, but playing it on the Viper, I don't hate it at all. Control is always good for that. You don't have anyone who can quickly disengage, so it makes entirely sense. Trades coming out. Chocolate not able to disengage from this B fight, which they've been heavily involved with. The anchor for it 9 times out of 10. 3 versus 2 coming into the retake. Lots of ults to work with here for Tonka. How do they choose to use them if necessary? Perhaps it won't be.
Yeah, that's a big stunt and cleared out completely. Height though gives himself a chance with that pick. There are still 2 players to find. If they play together though, there won't be a chance for the Omen. You would think so anyway. As they see the players start to get through. Nice point placement of the Poison Cloud. And it will be a poisonous finish for Novi Green.
Yeah, perhaps we see a situation where they thought the window for the paranoia was a little bigger than it ended up being. You know, when you have someone trying to climb through a window and they get sort of stuck on the ledge, and then it's a little bit awkward and someone's got to push them out. That's what the situation is for Novi Green. But it doesn't really matter, I think. You look at it right now, 4-4 already. They've done a decent job. Anything more you find is just additional weight on Tonka Varsity's back when they have to realistically claw this back from their attacking half. enough. And looking at what they've got to work with for the remainder of this, you have at least a singular ult for every single one upcoming. The buy should be there to follow it as well. I want to see some of these invested, perhaps surplus to requirements, especially when you consider how the last one panned out, but there are win conditions there, that is for certain.
I don't like how isolated that Astra is on top of ramp. The paranoia coming through, and look at that, the players are just straight away chasing this down. There is a pivot now to control or stop the push on A.
Such a beautiful toxic screen to isolate the fight as well, and there you even see the value of bringing in this Omen, because they have been able to just use the paranoia to take more aggressive duels. Jumbo now the controller on the operator, as they've managed to reclaim some control ramp, and now actually with the sound cues being heard in spawn, there's a fairly fast rotate here for Tonka to get in a decent position, shut this down, and look, even if Novi Green can bring this to post, you have a Rolling Thunder to outright deny and make this retake so swift.
Not even that, you've also got the Cosmic Divide. That's a pretty decent ultimate in its own right, but they're charging in there, I think, with the operator and got the biggest pick of them all. That's something that we don't expect to see every single day, but they're not cleared close right either. There goes your Rolling Thunder, and there goes perhaps your chance at the round. Jumbo my mumble comes through with this operator, and hold down's a big long line of sight, clearing things through. Choco Mint finds another. We're down to 2 versus 2. The Sage could heal themselves back up, which I'd imagine we will see. Player Crow Sight, this is lovely utility. My god, what is happening here? The chance might be gone for the round, and it is only not for who you would expect it to be. It's Novi Green that win it out.
Yeah, I mean, everything on paper actually does favour Novi Green in that round. They had numbers, I mean, they had control of the site. Just in the retake, Tonka did what it was they needed to do to make it difficult. But coming into the pre-round, I said, let's use some of these ultimates if it can be a win condition. You had the Rolling Thunder there to make things dangerous, and it just doesn't get invested. In fact, it's lost after Jumbo has dropped the pit, meaning you're going to get even more exponential value from it. Just looking at how some of the previous have panned out, Novi Green got off to this decent start by finding the pistol. Tonka have responded, but now it comes to a point where they are investing a timeout. Things needing a change because they've gone a little off course.
Yeah, they really have. This is not to say that when we move on towards the next half, though, Hazza, that Tonka Varsity can't replicate the successes of Novi Green. I think, though, like, one thing that even we can see from these replays is there's been a lot of scrappy fights across all the maps.
Yeah, and I think there was a semblance of that on Pearl as well, especially with how a lot of the mid-duels were being taken. Tonka Varsity giving away a few kills in that regard, and I mean they're doing the same here as well with some of the duels. The setup right now looks to be 2-2-1, a more heavy priority towards A, mid, and B, just the solo anchor of the singular Sentinel player inside the server at this point in time. But even then, looking at how Tonka Varsity are playing this A, even playing mid now, it's effective 1v1s that Novi Green are offered to have here. And if the initiation is as good as it has been from Jay in previous rounds with both of those duelists to back it up, you have to worry about how they're able to control this.
Oh, Gottman going straight in towards this. Unfortunately, oh my god, I was about to say, just going to miss out on the chance, but the chance is taken, converted. Oh my goodness, and do you know what? Here comes another Schmuggler only on that. Stinger get stung themselves. The site taken and 3 players trying to scramble to get back on.
Yeah, look, I don't like to toot my own horn, but it's exactly what I said. You had 2 players in isolated positions. You know exactly what the set play is from Novi Green. It's the 3rd or 4th time that they've done it taking ramp, and it pans out flawless. The timeout not delivering the value just yet. I mean, a few players on stingers there. I'm not sure if that was a force. It doesn't look to be. There is headroom sufficient to get another light or even full buy for some of these players through. And now look at the ults. There are currently 8 available in the server, the majority of which, realistically, we can say sit with Tonka Varsity. They have the same amount, but Chocoment is only a singular point away from getting that res online. if there's anything you've spoken about in the timeout here in terms of what you're doing with your ultimates, now is the time to be using them.
Well, that's a nice bank shot that I've not seen, and do you know what? This is a chance that we've not seen come out for Tonka. Showstopper doesn't quite capitalise on Schmuggler, but they've capitalised on the mistakes of others, and now it seems if Nova Green will have this spike, this site once again. But where's the spike, Hazza? It's late.
I don't think it matters though, Cairo. You have this flank coming through. Could that be a complete inconsistency? I think so. You know what? You were right all along. Why did I doubt you? You're my duo, man. Come on, I'm supposed to have your back, not be vying against you. Devil's advocate and all, you know. Good for entertainment, I suppose. But the thing you're looking at there is Novi Green bringing it to post and then having that flank coming through mid. The problem is they don't, because finally Tonka Varsity are using these ultimates. It's a Showstopper and a Rolling Thunder, which does a clean sweep. And now look, they're even playing together. There's 4 players in B Tower, for goodness sake. Hype on low HP is going to be moving back through A after the fake from the shadows.
30 seconds left.
And at least this time around, they'll have an opportunity to get that spike down. And look, Tonka Varsity aren't taking any risks at all with this setup.
It's these kids, man. They're too fast on their reactions, you know. Now they're all just playing together. It's like, I can just imagine the comms. No, it's hype on such low HP. Yeah, confirmation. Nice fast retake though, but it only happened and was kind of supported by the fact that hype was so late with that spike, and a big question mark on that one, Hazza.
Yeah, I think the spacing there, the timings, not quite being as swift to the execute, because you look at Novi Green and how much success they've found from these A-takes, especially those aggressive ones, and just pinching ramp control from Tonka Varsity. This time around, that is not something that they opted for. Right, and I mean, look at the amount of HP that even gets taken off of hype there, just about evacuating with the From the Shadows. But Tonka, if they're able to find one more, which you would fancy them to do so, considering how much they've still got left in the reserves, then it's going to be a good scene. It is going to be a good scene. But even 6-6, Novi Green have done so much work already.
Spike now left towards A, which at the back of your head you'd be thinking, well, that's where they're hoping to finish this out. The players, though, pretty quiet outside of A, and the difference being this time, Hazza, is that adaptation towards the top of ramp.
Yeah, it's the adaptation that we wanted, one that we were crying for the entirety of the time. You have 2 players grouped up. They know that this is where Novi Green have been finding their success on the A exec. And with the spike grouped up there, I mean, there's every chance that they go for a similar play here. Hype isn't really in a position to deliver that same paranoia right now. You have the flank on the B already set up. Players still just keeping a watchful eye over mid. The single initiator maybe looking for something with the flash, but time is definitely a factor now. There's only 30 seconds. Finally, the paranoia comes through. The setup is there, but Schmuggler supports, and Mamp is maintained.
Ah, nice. Just to have that Viper there, the heads up, just to be able to watch top of me. But here's a bigger pick. The spike's down and the players somehow have to try and fight for it back. But the fighting goes in favour of Chroma. That's a huge double. The last 2 remaining players are coming from mid and there's 15 seconds remaining. You guys need to get a move on. There's still ultimates to protect us, and we even see that with the Viper's pit. They're running in, and but it's all done, Hazza. We all end up even, but Novi Green may have already done the work that they need to.
They may have, but I think there's a big asterisk next to that as well, Cairo, because we've seen already how both of these teams look to be better from their attacking sides respectively, and I wonder what Tonka Varsity can bring out for us here. How exactly it is they want to play this in contrast to Novi Green, and how Novi Green are going to make the most of this composition. Yes, you have double duelist, that's one thing to look at, but you also have double controller, a secondary set of, oh my goodness, a secondary set of smokes to make this advance a lot more difficult. The toxic screen across mid, really nice coverage that they're going to be able to put out here. And you can already see that double up top ramp is the adaptation that Tonka Varsity made, but it's here from round 1. So whether that delivers a lot more or not, we will have to see.
Questionable flashpoint. Don't know if that's them trying to stop a quick push or whatnot. It's a wasted anyway, because nothing has come from it. Players slowly move through, and Soap is really isolated. Even though they've got that one way, the players will come through in force and will find that first pick. The players on site though try to find what is that on towards heaven, but look at this, it's all Tonka Varsity. They continue their attacking prowess in towards split. It's taking a long time to get there. A little bit of a fright, but it's 3 versus 1. The biggest fright being how prolific Tonka Varsity have been on the attack.
Cairo, I mean, just as this round looked to be coming to a close, I was getting ready to say it's going to be flawless attacker pistols for both teams, but Jai certainly has something to say about it. A royal flush of utility to work with, but that is now going to be something we can think about in the next round. Chroma finally sweeps them off their feet, removes them from the equation, and denies any kind of clutch potential that we could have been anticipating from this one. It doesn't really make a difference. I mean, attacker's side as well, so the defenders aren't going to be forcing. It is 4 shorties, though, and I would like to see Tonka Varsity be approaching this round with a little bit of caution.
That caution. I just realised, by the way, that flashpoint. Where did that flash come from? From the defending side?
Oh, the defending side? I mean, they don't have a breach. So
Unless, was it just a bad flash?
No. I mean, Shmoog, the fact that you're still thinking about this
it's
is hilarious.
Just, no.
But
it's just when I saw mid,
it's just a very wide flash out into mid. It gets that initial clear on towards the players there. I mean, they were able to scale off the back of it anyway.
Yeah.
You had the mid control. I don't think it's really too much to be drawing from.
Oh, no, it's close left.
As the players come in, yeah, you can get one shot out, but Phantom's going to find you. And now that they've managed to push this to a post plant with numbers, and in fact, Jai also dropping, I don't fancy Novi Green to really get anything done here unless Tonka Varsity feed directly into these shorties.
Yeah.
And they won't.
Sorry, I don't know why my head just completely got drawn back towards that round, but I don't think there was much to take away from that last
Cairo,
round.
mate,
yes.
Honestly, look, if you were thinking as much about that breach flash as I was in the breach flashes that you usually put in our ranked games, then I would be talking about it for the full cast. So I would not even stress
Come on, don't do me dirty like that. I had a good breach game today.
How many games did we win today? Can we just reiterate?
Yeah, but how many times did I play breach?
We didn't win. You played breach once and we lost. What do you mean?
Oh, what's going on? Chroma's just lost the gunfight when they should have won that. The players are still going to continue. That's a lovely bit of utility coming through. Nice trade back, and again another upgrade.
You got this default Viper wall, a little bit of conditioning set in towards ramp. As it should do. It's one of your tools from which you can work there. And now they're just moving into this B play through the vent. Jai has stopped a couple from elapsing it. And in fact, it is only Schmoogler that gets away. Another 3-piece required. Damn, they've swapped the Vandal out for a Bulldog. Couldn't find the spike. The mechanical arms of the breach player not long enough to pry it from Novi Green's grasp. And they pick up the round. The bonus denied.
Can have as many fusion cores as you want, but you don't have any go-go gadget arms to pick that one up, Hazard. Moving in this one, well, it was a nice play, let's be honest, to kind of redirect yourselves after pulling Novi Green's attention towards heaven. Realistically, Chroma just a little bit unlucky, a set play that we've seen from their opponents as well. So, yeah, I like that round, just unfortunate the way the gunfights fell.
The Viper walls from both teams. I mean, such a premium agent on this map. She effectively plays like an anchor in the amount of stopping power that you get, which is why we have gone a little light in the Sentinel department for both teams, I feel. You can see them interjecting there as well. It looks like a lightsaber duel taking place right at the pinpoint at the top of A. Instead, the toxins have been used to just delay this B, it seems. I mean, I'm saying that. It is a dark cover currently posted up. We have the one-way and mid instead with 2 players behind it. Tonka's still looking to move into this. And yeah, in fact, that Viper toxic screen I was speaking so much of is nothing but a ruse.
I was just going to say, Soap's going to be isolated here, and with that flash, it's huge. Although, they've not even looked towards backside. A big spam, but unfortunately not able to connect on towards the head. All the players already congregated in towards Heaven here, Hazza. The spike will go down. Majority, or advantage towards Tonka. It's all about these crossfires. Seekers now to identify where players are, but they've not identified Chroma. Goes deep and upsets this retake now. Oh, just going high and wide. Lovely shots from Jumbo my Mumbo, and well, Novi Green will be mumbling their words after that.
Man, the more multi-frags that this Astra player gets, the happier I'm going to be. Not showing any kind of caster bias there, it just means that you have to say Jumbo my Mumbo with a Scottish accent, and that really gets me going, so I'm very much enjoying it. Novi Green on a lighter buy here. I mean, even there, Chroma is taking a singular fight unsupported towards sort of B Garden, I guess you could call it, right? Just outside towards defender's spawn. And as soon as they win that fight, Tonka Varsity then have complete control, because Novi Green have to worry about so much control. They're already playing this incredibly open post with the position of the spike, and it's just too much to think about. Ooh. However, the response on this round is an early aggression outside of NA, a weapon upgrade already taken, and just this single Viper player to deal with the B threat now looming.
Oh, nice, because now they've got the B main. They've got the B main spot. They now know that the players will have to go and try and re-clear this, and Schmuggler's done it solo and at a close range, a close angle, big picks, and now Novi Green will look to try and, I guess, crunch in towards the site, Hazza.
Yeah, Chroma just dipping, paint shells out, nice damage. Should be dealt only a little bit, but it maintains the positioning more than anything else. Schmoogler gets baited, and just like that, the kill feed floods blue. I don't know how this has happened, but Novi Green have walked away with it. 4 players standing in pseudo form. It's a flawless for them. And I just don't know how Tonka Varsity, how that has happened. You need more players to be chasing down that Viper player in main, I think, stealing some of the control back for yourself. You got this really nice plant scenario with the spike open yet again. And then I don't really know what happened, because there was so much focus on Garage, at least from the players with the res, and everyone else drops. Power in numbers, strength in numbers. We're seeing the value, finally, of these teams just sort of fighting together, doubling up, using the buddy system. It's very basic stuff, but it goes a long way.
Hazza, there was 4 1v1s in the back of my head, which I could identify. You mean, you've got the one out on A main, the one in towards Garage trying to clear it, the one when you're trying to get the res, and then there's also the raise that's deep in towards CT.
I think the one outside A isn't such an issue because it's a lurk, but I know what you mean, especially when you're going into your post, need to be playing numbers. Not something that's happened. Tonka Varsity forced the issue. They have the credits to do so. There's someone guarding the top rope, and it's Jai with a shorty. Not the most favourable of situations. Trailblazer coming out will try and stop them in their tracks. The shorty first. Pump comes through. An additional stun on the Nova Pulse. Trading this utility blow for blow, but the shotgun, the biggest one in play, is the judge. A singular kill to a 4 versus 3. Tonka again on this pivot. Look to finish B.
It's like a game of tag or whatever. Like, the players are just on a sprint race, and they try to take engagements as quickly as possible. This is going to be another post plan, but how does it look? I mean, 3 versus 4 isn't the worst and not the most, I guess, unwinnable position for Tonka.
Yeah. Now 3rd round in a row, finishing B. 50% win rate for Tonka from this position if you're not considering their early successes. Need to group up and play for one another, or at least the flank maybe could be good. Jumbo by Mumbo gets shot down, and it's the remaining 2 behind Pillar. Only Chroma in a 1v3, playing around, and the map feels so small. They close in from every angle. Novi Green tie us up, 9-9.
Hazza, can I ask you, how many times did you see a crossfire set up there? And that's what I feel as if is costing Tonka Varsity.
I mean, they were going into post, man disadvantage. That is one of the scenarios where you can then definitely make an argument for looking to try and find something. But Jumbo by Mumbo even gets caught off with an unfortunate timing, moving their way through defender's spawn. The job for the remaining 2 players just simply has to be to buy time. Something which Breach's utility is very good at. But when you've expended so much in the early round to take that control towards A, and it's this last chance dash towards B as it's looked to be for the previous couple of rounds, never going to be the ideal scenario for them. Timeout comes through. Couple of ultimates on the board for Tonka Varsity. That could be the difference maker. The Viper's Pit, most specifically. 30 seconds or so left to mull this one over, Cairo. We've already spoken at great length, I think, about some of the issues that we've seen. In terms of this round, what can you punish on the Novi Green side?
There is actually quite, I don't want to say quite a decent amount, but there's certainly things I'm thinking of. I mean, you think towards that top of ramps kind of stack. You've got a breach here that can go through walls. There's already a lineup. We've seen the player already kind of been going for it, and you look towards the pings on the map, Hazza. Already might be a couple of ideas thinking about that.
Yeah, you're seeing this posture for the A. I don't think this is all too surprising. Like you mentioned, they can exploit ramp here, definitely. They can exploit the A push as a whole. You actually look at the choke and how Novi Green are playing this. They don't have too much utility to slow you down from just going for that fast hit.
This is nice. Look at the wall, though. This is so awkward. And if we even got the spam through the wall, not only that, you'd have to actually force yourself further out to try and clear everything that's going on. You can cut noise if they really wanted to, but they're not going to do that. They've already got sight, and now we're in post.
Yeah, it's a restricted post. The spike planted a lot deeper, but you're already seeing what I was talking about there. A single spit to try and slow things down, and now the reasoning for that plant becomes evident. Viper's Pit invested, and Tonka, they want to take this one right here and now.
Oh, nice placement of the paint shells, clears that close corner, but elsewhere the gunfights have fallen in towards the hands of the Sky. The showstopper on either side comes through, and there's only 2 players remaining. It's that of Novi Green, and they'll convert it once again, even after all the ultimates invested.
Yeah. I mean, it's your win condition, and it's also your Achilles heel playing in the pit on site there. There's no second layer to it. In fact, we see the breach. Schmugel just sort of sat outside of it. They're trying to get something done with the utility, because it's not going to have any value from within the pit there. I mean, Aftershock for damage, fault line perhaps, but the flash is certainly rescinded. So now you go into the full buy, right? That wasn't your full investment. You're actually one away from a Rolling Thunder, so there's more opportunities here. But the bigger thing has to be, okay, now we can actually punish A. The issue is, the response from Novi is, okay, we've been punished A, let's actually adapt into this and try and slow things down.
Big Cosmic Divide. It just does the same thing as what we saw from the Viper wall, just this time denies the sound. Problem being is there's already a response from that in the Viper wall of Novi Green has her.
And that toxic screen in sight means that you can anchor from pretty much any position. A lot of angles to contend with, but players are going to struggle to push through it. And the amount of stall on this utility, the positive for Tonka Varsity is that they've got rid of the Viper util. The negative is it's at the cost of their Cosmic Divide. One of the ultimates they had, the only ultimate in fact coming into the round. Finally they look to hit. This one should be a safer entry, but they have to worry about like a fool from behind. Gets spotted out and doesn't find the value. 4 versus 3. They have the numbers and they have to spike down.
I don't know about that, Hazza. You see, haven't found the value, but got a big pick in the breach. That's a lot of stall gone from the side of Tonka in the post plant. And look at this. Finding Jumbo my mumbo, a big pick there. There is still the Seekers. I mean, there's so much in terms of ultimates. We're going to see the Seekers invested, clearing out these close corners. Even the Trailblazer in on the mix, but it's the gunfights and the paint shells that come through. There's an operator that they're trying to escape with, and Gotham has realised the position they're in. They're getting hunted down, and they'll be found. Tonka Varsity answer back.
Yeah, operator is outright denied. That will not be recollected. Not something that Tonka Varsity look to play through. A conduit for their attacker's side. Ill-advised. And Gautama will have to reach deep into their pockets to actually bring this back up. I think Novi Green still have a buy left in them after this, but that one not ideal. The loss bonus for Tonka Varsity has been reset, but most importantly, they found the round. 20 played, inseparable the teams, and with all of this A pressure, now they look to test the B. Only issue is the aforementioned operator is laying in wait.
Gotta get the first pick, gotta find it, and they have done so. Now the dash comes online and is able to get out. Now, the players, look what happens on the rest of the map. You're playing for the luck that is in towards mid. The players just not wanting to execute too much here. Still got a Rolling Thunder and a res.
Yeah, that's really nicely done. In fact, the wall will be used for safety as well. Chroma back on their feet. We're in a 5 versus 5. Novi Green haven't reacted to all of this heavy control in the garage position. We've not seen like a fool, play like a fool and overcommit A or anything like that. They're simply jump spotting it. The stack maintains, the rotate difficult, not to telegraph quite heavily. So Tonka Varsity will be pushing into this heavily guarded site yet again. The caveat is, of course, they have the Rolling Thunder, and I think that's going to be really important to stop this operator from having them removed in the round.
The issue is the placement of that Rolling Thunder, because if it's not placed to perfection, then there's a lot of players that can still manage to stay alive, and it has been placed. You can't scope in now on that op. Fantanix finds Jai, and oh my god, Chroma finding got him up. There goes your op, there goes your roaming, and it's just people being gifted towards Tonka Varsity. We move into boards with a 3-man advantage.
Yeah, you can say gifted. Maybe the kill on the Omen looks like it, but that was incisive from Tonka Varsity. As well, just to commit the ultimate in a position where you know you're going to be finding that operator, unless they've decided to move back into the backside position, and even then there's utility to deal with it. So really, really nicely played. Airtight now, the post should be. Like a fool trying to find a way back through, but saving onto these 2 guns I think is a good decision. You've got a few players on 2 point, whatever K that can reinvest. You need to be holding on to these if you want a full buy coming into what is going to be a pivotal round with Tonka now teetering on finding a 12th.
Just looking to as if they were actually going to fling themselves at Soap. Yeah, big round, and do you know what? Even after finding himself that pick on towards Gautama, it's another situation where the mid round has cost it, and I feel as if you can't really be too, I don't want to say disrespectful, like kind of too critical of the way that Novi Green played that, because realistically they're playing for the re-entry back in towards B. The Rolling Thunder catches them. It's just again another situation where you got to point out it was the mid round.
Yeah, I think so, right? Or at least Tonka Varsity are able to stabilize quite nicely with the res. They prioritize the orb. And like you said, Novi Green, the macro on that round is good. You have a very passive A setup. You can play for the retake there quite happily. And B is the heavier lean with the presence. The information, it was very much in their court. Just ill-prepared to deal with the execute itself and the bulk of that Rolling Thunder. So now a timeout coming through. In terms of what the defenders can actually do to shake things up here, it's always really difficult when things aren't going on your way, especially on a map like Split, because if you try and go for anything too aggressive, it's such a gamble. You're pushing B main, for example. Okay, control can be taken there at the very least. You push A main and find nothing. You've got players in mid that are very quick to react into an execute on B or even behind you vents. So their hands are almost tied here, and when you look at the buy as well, it's last chance saloon. If you don't pick this up, Tonka Varsity are heavily favoured to walk away in a 2-0 fashion.
Gautama might not have an op, but the weapon just is deadly. Again, this Astra utility from Tonka has been on point. They double up with this. Oh no, the push comes through. No, at least there's a trade there from towards like a full. The spike still outside of A, and that might call a rotate. It does so, especially after Gautama against Schmuggler.
Tonka Varsity playing this default round on one where they know that Novi Green most likely have made changes to what the setup looks like. Unfortunately, the reconnaissance not really landing in their favour, and a lot of solo duels being taken. Soap just cleans them up. Squeaky clean, in fact, from the namesake. And we're all a piece yet again. And that is a round where you have so much set up outside of A to punish the aggression that I said we could have expected from Novi Green. Schmuggler's on their ones outside of B. And everything just falls apart like sand through the fingers when really Tonka Varsity are just trying to play a slow round so they don't get caught out. In fact, the opposite ends up happening as a result of the way they prepared.
I've just said, oh my god, Hazza, because if you look towards Jaya in the assist department, you can hardly say they've not been doing their job, eh?
I mean, look, they had plenty of assists. I think it was Schmoogler with no, Jumbo Mumbo was the one playing the Sky last time around. They had great value. Sky is a very good initiator on this map specifically, but the fact they've got kills now to support it as well is really nice. Showstopper comes through, vulnerable up. Chroma just dealing more util damage towards the backside. Tonka Varsity need to be moving up here. Their aftershock is brilliant to keep high locked in, but they've still not fully taken it. And Fantanex are taking this fight solo. Flash through. That is fantastic. Beautiful clearing. And Tonka now have everything they want in this post plant. Higher up because of the spike positioning, but it may not be an issue.
Where has Tonka Varsity been hiding for this full time that we've been casting? This is such a mature performance, and it's something that I've been thoroughly impressed with so far. The players come in for the retake, but look at how that is played. There's layers to this, and the layers being that one player was hidden, and now it's all up to the crossfires. Chai, you have a tough task, my friend, to stop them getting on towards 12. You won't even get one. That's perfect from Tonka Varsity and beautiful Valorant.
That is damning as well. The headshot onto Schmoogler and can't even walk away with a consolation kill. Looking at this again, though, it's champagne Valorant from Tonka Varsity. I mean, I guess you could make the argument they're doing everything that they have to, but especially sometimes at this level, that's not something which we've seen a lot of the teams engage with. And understanding that you really do want that full backside control and that we have the utility to expend and we can go for it. Like, just do it, right? Literally just do it. And Schmoogler and Jumbo, really nice combination there as well between the Breach and the Astra. Those pulls and stuns and flashes combining, doing so much work.
Has it been signed up by Nike for the next advertisement for Just Do It? Well,
Just Do It.
Just Do It.
Oh, they got
indeed.
Oh, wow.
And the blast packs are so nice. Although Hazard, Hype's just playing a little bit upset of their own, coming through massively. That's a 4K. Now it's up to Jumbo. What can you do, my son? I don't think there'll be much as all the players look to roam round. Yep, the crossfire's set up. We are going to overtime.
Oh, it's going to be a late one for you and me, Cairo.
I
We can already see that, and that's not even whether we go to a third map or not. Novi Green right now fighting for their tournament lives, and Hype has come up with a really big 4K there. Jumbo would have had to match their efforts if they wanted to walk away with it, but we will be exiting regulation with these teams neck and neck. 2, 6 and 6 halves. It's curious now to see whether any of those changes that we saw develop the way along from Tonka Varsity's defense are going to be coming through. Looks to be such a deeper defensive line on this A-hold than what we were used to. And will Fantanex have found out how the one-way works? I know that Soap was definitely capable of it, but this one struggled before. There we go. Nice little YouTube clip into those timeouts, maybe.
VAL goes up, but Gotham's going to go fast here, I think this is one of the common heaven plays, and yep, there it is, already up there. Space now taken, but the problem is the retake now. Spam through, they've just seen the shoulder, and yep, here it is. The players are going to solo swing. Got the pick. Hype elsewhere, though, did get one onto Jumbo. The Astro Star's been gone. Yeah. I mean, big part of Tonka's hold and the way that they retake is those Astro Stars.
Yeah, they haven't actually fought to challenge Heaven here, and now the flank is coming through. We saw this happen before, so the problem was the round was already too late for it to have any impact. This time around, it could be different, and I think it certainly will be. Soap closes. Novi Green find 13, and now they have the chance to walk away with their own map pick in dramatic style.
It's going to be some drama fighting the way through. If they win this one, it's going to be 4 in a row for Novi Green. 4 in a row, 3 in a row, apologies. But anyway, nonetheless, it's going to be a big, big round indeed. Because one thing you have to say, struggled on the defense ever so slightly.
Yeah. I mean, both of these teams did by split standards, I guess, when you're breaking even on a 6-6. Compositional differences, definitely something that we have to highlight. And the double duelist had served Novi Green well there, just being able to explode onto A as they did. Tonka Varsity perhaps giving them a little too much respect with what the setup was. Flash coming out, 20 seconds played. Light amount of information that they're able to work with here in terms of what the A control looks like. The jump spot is just a little too shallow to spot any of these players. Chroma is going to be up close before they even have a chance to take the fight and will in fact win it. Double satchel in. And now this is going to be Tonka Varsity playing at the same game that Novi Green did. Without the flank though.
Spike now invested. Post plant now heading towards. Like the prioritisation towards CT. Although the gunfight's not quite working out there. Still keep the advantage. And the players out towards ramp is what you've got to be watching out for. If this Viper falls, the whole control could fall, Hazza.
House of Cards, and they've gone for that aggression there towards spawn. Paranoia comes in, players following it up from different positions. Gotama finding the kill, traded out, and more importantly Tonka Varsity still have the player numbers to deal with this. They've repositioned for the remainder, which they know to be coming in through ramp, and this should be the safety net on it, and in fact it will be. Chocomint can bail them out, and we go again.
Yeah, we're going back in for another round, blow for blow between these two, but a nice little kind of layers to the utility again, Hazza. The fact that as the players come through, you're seeing the breaches, the slow orbs, the etc., and just kind of delaying that util. Yeah. Again, mature performance by both teams has to be said.
I really want to tap in on that micro as well, that Novi Green maybe not getting as much information as they actually wanted from A ramp, because Chroma had closed so much distance before Jai was in a position to actually sort of take that fight or at least posture for it. So information denial, a big thing. And look, Novi Green doing a similar thing here. The util will be what topples Chroma in the Raze duel. Tonka have rotated into this, the spike lingering outside B, an orb for their troubles, and simply a parting gift. The breach player, the one commonly that rotates, and they will fill those shoes.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a full rotate from Tonka.
Yeah, they are gambling heavily on this.
And do you know something? I like it, Hazza, because there's been nothing in terms of contact. Yes, you've got the Viper wall that would, I guess, deny the information, but
yes,
they've read it right.
Historically, think about how Novi Green approach their A executes as well. It's heavily towards the site, and then you're looking for that Viper to be coming through as a lurk, through vent. So as long as they're holding mid and they have players towards B here, you know, all accounts should be covered. Chocomint just about gets stunned up. The showstopper shy of the mark. Jumbo finds the kill. Players dropping down and making them fall on the Novi Green side. Numbers up for now, and Fantanex will convert. 14 for them, and Tonka Varsity get themselves another chance.
That read is beautiful, Hazza, the way that they're already there and set up. But not only that, somehow we see the Trailblazer prioritise the Sage, and the call's made. Look, guys, I need some help. I need some crossfire set up, and straight away we see Jumbo come through from CT and save the Sage there.
And it's exactly what I was talking about just before the execute comes through. Tonka Varsity can afford to make a gamble like that. They didn't win the previous defensive round, but that goes out the window. The historic A executes are 4 players in the site and 1 through the lurk. The retakes panning out fairly well for Tonka. They're happy to just concede the space behind the screen. So really, really nice setup and read there. Understanding the play and familiarising themselves with it. Now 1 up. But from this position before they were too tentative, they got punished. Novi Green took those liberties and beat them out. It is a slow start again, but we're just going to have to see where this one finishes. I'm thinking it's going to be another A, but there is no lurk. It's the same as it was last time around.
It's this wall that we've seen before, has it? The one that denies all the information all the way through, and there's not even like anybody sitting at the back of sight where, for instance, historically a Cypher or whatever would sit. Like a Fool, though, does see all of the util, does see all of the bullets. Satchel not quite hitting where they want to, but the response comes through. Sight will be set up and post will be pretty comfortable. It's even this deep raise as well.
Look at Chroma in spawn, needs to come up big. Tonka Varsity's post is now so restricted. You have nothing to work off, and this was a real issue for them before. The only caveat to it was the fact that they had numbers. Now they don't. And Novi Green, with a brilliant opportunity presented to make this retake happen. Paranoia is still in hand for hype, and they're just preparing this one to send Tonka to the chopping block and go next.
This is why we always see slow takes work out better, because you try and waste this utility, but the bodies are being wasted on the side of Tonka. As it comes through, there's a couple of trades back. Still advantage towards the defenders, but maybe not for much longer. Just a chance for Jumbo Mombo. Brings it
What a game! 28 rounds played, and just about in the end, we see Tonka come out unscathed. From a 13-4 to that performance, I firstly have to give so much credit to Novi Green for the way that they stepped up their game. I think you can probably put a lot of what that first map looked like down to their comfortability with it and it being a choice. I think not having a deep map pool isn't something that's ultimately so concerning at this level. It's more the team play, and that did come through for them eventually. Unfortunately, Tonka Varsity were just that little bit more aware of the wider game plan. They were able to make these slight adaptations which really punished the Novi Green setup. I mean, like some silly bits and pieces here and there, but I mean, it wouldn't be HSEL without it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, these players know they're not at the highest form of competition, but they certainly, you certainly could argue that there's a lot of promise within these teams.
Definitely.
The fact that we were able to kind of go for all that utility, even like towards the later end of this map, we were talking about just the maturity and the way that their util game was. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed.
Me too. I mean, some of those rounds from Tonka on their attacking side, combining the utility, even Novi Green, the amount of times, it's a rinse and repeat they were able to take ramp control. Then you had this sort of mid-game mental battle between the two teams as to how they wanted to approach that area of the map. Novi Green still getting very aggressive with the double duelist comp, and like I said before, the difference between the sort of standard loud comp on this map and the one they were running is the Omen, and that being the primary form of initiation to take that space. Then it comes a point where Tonka want to play more passive. They're happy to concede it, but then Novi read into this and they then want to sort of pile on a bit more pressure. So definitely some high-level concepts being tapped into by both teams, and a really good macro understanding, like I said before. But what a series. What an absolute series. It may have been a 2-0, but we definitely got our worth out of that broadcast in the end.
Yeah, really, mate. It was a delight, and do you know something? Usually late nights we start to get tired, but I feel as if I could actually go for another map, and that's not just me saying it. I must say thank you to everybody who has stick around with us to watch this early matchup. We still have another one, another semi-final to come up for you guys. So stick around, watch that. Unfortunately, I don't know who the casters are. I've got an idea who it might be. Maybe Infernosis. I've seen him in chat. But if it is, I hope you enjoy the casting. That's all from me and Hazza. I'll see you guys, I guess, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'll be there. I don't know. You going to be there as well?
I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, all right. Well, look, we'll be there. We'll see you all tomorrow for some more HSEL playoffs. But that's not the stream done for this evening. That's only us. We're just sort of being really egotistical and sucking up all of the broadcasts. We're going to go now. There'll be a break, but when we return, there'll be another set of games for you, another best of 3. So don't go anywhere.